Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Why do they keep making sequels that mess with the original timeline?
Why do they keep giving sequels the same name as the original?
And why does Netflix keep making, or buying in this case, horror movies?
All this and more on Gory Story Time.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Story Time. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig. And quickly to answer those questions, money, and money. Anyway,
Yes.
this week, if you watched our most recent episode, it's been a couple of weeks because things came up, but we did our year preview. We always do the movies that, are coming out this year.
And one of the ones we talked about was this.
Yeah, so we're not going to do 4 of those back to back, but this is just one to
Not 4 of them have come out since we talked about it.
Right, well, we'll see. I mean, we could try to do that, but I don't think we're going to get 4. So, anyway, the point is, we wanted to review one to kind of go with our preview. And we chose Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it's out on Netflix currently. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but it made it easy for us to watch because we have it.
Basically, there's a town in Texas, and people are going to try to buy up this ghost town, basically. Everyone had abandoned, or they thought, and there's a couple people still living there, and one of them may or may not be a chainsaw-wielding maniac. I'm going to say may, because if may not, it would be a much more boring Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Yeah, it's just a movie about a
Like a little old lady that didn't want to move.
Place.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess instead of just talking about it, we can show you the trailer, and then you'll be caught up.
That's true.
So Harlow is a ghost town.
We have a vision for this place. All it needs is young blood.
I don't want to live here. This is a chance for people to start fresh somewhere safe.
Hey guys, you should see this.
What are you doing in our house? You really shouldn't be here.
Oh my God.
This is Hardesty.
Sally, I'm afraid your old friend's back.
50 years I've been waiting for this night. Just to see him again. Leatherface. it's you that he wants.
I'm not gonna let him kill you. Fear no evil. Fear no evil.
Try anything and you cancel, bro.
Oh, fuck. All right. Now, anything else you want to say before we get into the regular stuff for the show?
I mean, if you don't want it spoiled for you,
Yeah, we're gonna get into like
it is
some stuff
brand
about
new.
the end. So,
and we're getting right up until the end.
but if you got Netflix, you
Go
have
watch
easy
that
access
first.
to finding out anything we're gonna spoil.
Yes.
That being said, let's do.
Let the spoiling commence.
Well, first, before the spoiling,
Oh,
we have to make
spoil
our money.
ourselves.
Yeah. See, a lot of people are misinformed. They think we do this show reviewing horror movies because we're fans of the genre. To that I say, ha! It's because I like making money. And I
And
know.
we make a lot of that here.
Oh, yes. And the way we do that is by selling ourselves like cheap hoes to whatever conglomerate wants to write us the biggest check this week.
Yeah.
Whichever corporation wants to own us for a week. Right?
Exactly.
Anyway, they backed up a Brinks truck to our house, and here's what they did. They said, we want you to sell these two things this week. Gory Story Time is brought to you by Bubba's Barbecue Cookbook, written by Bubba Sawyer, native Texan, with barbecue skills so good you'll lick someone else's fingers. Try our famous long pig pulled pork recipe, or maybe you'd prefer his lip-smacking ribs. With a foreword by Dr. H. Lecter, the psychiatrist / famous gourmet. Order our gold edition, and you'll also receive a bottle of Bubba's belly-bustin' barbecue sauce and a t-shirt that reads, Dahmer may be a psycho, but the guy could cook. Bubba's Barbecue Cookbook. Get yours before he gets you.
I want that shirt. And by Thomas's one-of-a-kind face masks. Each one is hand-stitched by world-renowned mask maker Thomas Hewitt, made from 100% genuine leather. Thomas's masks are all made to order and take up to 6 days to make. So put on a happy face with Thomas's one-of-a-kind masks. Warning: these masks do not prevent the spread of any virus.
Makes sense. All right. Actually, with the access to the human blood, it might. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't going to say that out loud. All right. Now let's get into the behind-the-scenes information. Or, because he made a mistake one time years ago, he likes to still call it the
meat and beef.
The meat and beef of the show instead of meat and potatoes. Yeah.
Yes. Potatoes are bad for you.
It's too starchy.
Yeah. All right, so I go first?
Yeah.
The film was initially slated
Slated is what it's supposed to say, yeah.
for a theatrical release sometime in 2021, but all plans were scrapped due to a string of disastrous test screenings. It was subsequently sold to Netflix.
The first Texas Chainsaw movie to feature the original main character, Sally. However, in this film, she's played by Olwen Foray, I think, as the original actor, Marilyn Burns, tragically passed away in 2014.
On August 24th, 2020, initial directors and brothers Ryan Tohill and Andy Tohill split the project during the film's first week of production in Bulgaria. The duo was replaced with David Blue Garcia, who scrapped and reshot the previous footage.
Initially, during development of Leatherface from 2017, the producers had the film rights and intention to make 5 or more Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. In April of 2015, producer Krista Campbell stated the fate of potential sequels would depend on the financial and critical reception to Leatherface. By December 2017, Lionsgate and Millennium Films had lost the film rights due to the amount of time it took to release Leatherface. August of 2018, it was reported that Legendary Pictures had entered negotiations to purchase the film rights to Texas Chainsaw, with the studio intending to adapt television and film installments.
Sally's barn and house scene during her introductory scene when she receives the phone call about Leatherface returning are sets from the production of Rambo: Last Blood.
John Larroquette, who is the narrator at the beginning, was the narrator of the original 1974 movie and the 2003 remake and its prequel from 2006.
The population sign at the edge of Harlow says population 1974, which is the year of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre film.
This movie has a short end credit scene.
Like all other sequels and remakes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and unlike the original, this version contracts chainsaw into a single word in the title. Huh.
So the original had,
All right, then.
Interesting. The sound effects of the barbecue lid being opened is a musical cue from the original. We noticed that. We went,
Yes.
I was like, hey, they
the
used
name
it.
of the county the film takes place in, as well as the sheriff's department, is Hooper County. This is a nod to the co-creator of TCM, as well as the original 1974 film's director, Tobe Hooper.
One of the comments on the live videos during the bus scene is from David Blue Garcia, director of the film.
Fede Alvarez spoke out about the film's relation to the other sequels, that the film does not explicitly erase the continuity of them, saying when movies do that, sometimes it feels a bit disrespectful to all the other films. Some people love Texas Chainsaw 2. I love a lot of things about that movie. It's so wacky and of its time, but the rest is such a mess canon-wise. I think it's up to you to decide when and how the events of the other movies happen.
That's a weird...
That is a weird way to say it.
During one of the bus massacre scenes, the viewer can see both versions of his mom's face, normal and then skinned, flash on the bus window for a split second.
After Leatherface kills the blonde girl on the bus around 30 minutes into the movie, we see a shot of the side mirror, and the writing on the mirror says objects in the mirror appear closer than they actually are. This is perhaps an obvious nod to Steven Spielberg's classic Jurassic Park.
Yeah, because they did that with a dinosaur chasing them. Or it could just be a low-hanging fruit joke that they just went for. Like, it's such an easy joke. I don't know if it was a nod or not, but the road sign says Harlow, population 1974. Why do they... Okay, never mind. I'll just go to the next one because that's you already read that. Near the end of the original, survivor Sally confronts Leatherface seated in a bed. She aims her shotgun at him and reels off the names of her friends, Kirk, Pamela, Jerry, and Franklin, who weren't so lucky.
The kill count is 7 plus 9 on the bus, 16. More were assumed killed off camera on the bus, plus 1 if you count Leatherface's mom.
Which Leatherface didn't kill, so...
Yeah, 16.
And it wasn't his mom, it was...
Well, the kill count in a movie... yeah, whatever. So, 16, 17 if you count...
And then more off camera.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we like to give you the Rotten Tomatoes scores. Just quickly again, for those who don't know, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't grade the movies. They just take all the positive and negative reviews from professionals and from the people as separate numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And they just tell you what percentage gave it a positive review. That's it. So if it says 30% or 40% and you think that's low, realize that's what the people get. Like, only 40% of the people did that. Some people get mad at Rotten Tomatoes, like, you gave it a... It's like, no, I just, like...
Told you what they...
I averaged out what you all gave it.
Right.
And you can...
Oh, okay. So the critics
Yep.
have it at a 32% positive review.
And only 29% of the people liked it. So with horror movies, it's usually higher for the people.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's lower tells you all you need to know. And I guess the critics didn't mind trying to be woke, which is weird for horror, and trying to be, I don't know, they were definitely trying to be woke and trying to be funny in ways that only an old critic would think, oh, that's hilarious. Like the thing in the trailer with the taking the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sick of that joke. I told him that this is going to be bitched about.
They did it
They've
in Black
done it
Panther,
in Spider-Man.
They did it in Spider-Man. They did it in
It's
Shang-Chi.
like something big is happening and everybody pulls out their phones and nobody does anything to help or stop it. And it's like, okay, we get it. It was funny a little the first time. It doesn't need to be every time something is happening in a movie now that everyone watching pulls out a phone. We get it. Like, it's not funny anymore. It's been overdone.
It has.
That road has been tread. Anyway, so yeah, 29% is pretty low.
It is.
Weirdly my point.
I already gave mine.
Yeah, I know. Let's talk about our least and most favorite scenes.
Okay.
Let's start with the positive. What's your favorite scene of this movie?
It's not a specific scene, but the overall special effects in this movie.
Okay.
The special effects in this movie are disgusting. I love it.
And realistic. That's why they're disgusting.
Yeah. There's
don't.
specific thing.
Yeah,
and
it's probably my thing.
Is it?
If it's the first real thing, then yes.
Then yes.
All right, so I'll get to mine. Mine specifically is based on what he's saying, except it's specifically the first kill. Basically, Leatherface's adopted mom. She was like a woman that owned or ran an orphanage.
Yeah.
But she dies, and he violently attacks anyone he thinks had anything to do with it, and then just anybody in his way. But he takes one of the cops and he snaps his arm and his bone pokes out, and it's so realistic, and then he stabs the guy with his own broken bone. It is
visceral.
Awesome.
It's disgusting.
And it's literally
bloody.
The first kill, so like, well, technically second if you count the mom, but it's his first kill in this movie.
It's the first time that he kills someone on screen in that movie.
It made me excited for the rest of the movie. I'm like, okay, that was awesome.
It really set the standard.
If this was like the mid-90s, it was dope.
It was.
What was your least favorite thing? Now, we agreed on our least favorite thing, but I had enough complaints that I came up with another one. So he's going to say the one that we both had agreed on, and then I'll get into my second.
The very ending. All right, spoiler alert. He's killed. Leatherface is like very dead, right? And he's drowning, and he's all dead. Then the surviving people, they're going to leave the town, and then Leatherface, zombie Leatherface.
Nope, just Leatherface, not dead all of a sudden.
Comes up, grabs one of them, cuts their head off, and like dances around, and the movie's over.
It is so bad.
He's not supposed to be a zombie. He doesn't come back from the dead.
Yeah,
that's not his thing.
And I know you're going to say, well, yeah, but they do that in so many movies. Yes, and it's effed out. I'll say it as clean as possible.
It really is. And when you have a character who isn't that, it's better because there's so many characters who are that.
Yeah,
so
got
just
those.
stick to the he's not that.
Like, have some way for him to not have been dead if you don't want him to be dead at the end of the movie. It's easy enough. Like, in the first one, he didn't die. That's why he kept coming back, because he wasn't alive.
Dead, right.
It's true.
It is true.
Sadly. All right, and that was going to be mine, too, except when we discussed it. We don't usually discuss it ahead of time, but I was like, all right, I'll come up with a secondary.
Because right when that happened, we were just like, really?
And I was thinking maybe the camera thing would be mine, but I already got to complain about that. So instead, what was it that I said that I told you at home what it was?
Yeah, and I don't remember.
Oh, shoot. It wasn't the... it was the fact that there's a sheriff. They bragged about how it was Sally, the surviving character from the first one. It literally makes no sense that the girl that was traumatized in the first one and was escaping Texas because she wasn't from Texas. It wasn't like this was a town over.
They were going through, picked up a freaking hitchhiker.
Yeah. So she is the survivor that for some reason, in this version, she
stuck around,
stayed for 40, 50 years with the plans of, if he ever tries it again, I'll kill him. That makes no sense. She, as a character, they tried to pull a Laurie Strode. They're like, we're going to bring in his first person he was after. And it's like, don't do that.
Right, except...
Like, this isn't that.
In real
Laurie
life,
Strode
that
was supposed to be...
character was not, like, the
Laurie Strode
badass.
was Michael Myers' sister.
Right.
So, like, there was a reason why he was connected to her. This is, like, And they even made fun of that.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't know who she was. Why? Because why would he? He
Right.
kills a lot of people. Like, that's kind of what he does for, like, fun.
Like that and taking their faces off, those are his hobbies.
Pretty much. So, you know, the fact she still had a face, he's probably not... And it was a much older face after 50 years.
Right.
Well, I mean, 74 to... I mean, it's
Well,
almost...
and a change of actresses.
It was almost 50 years.
Right.
Because, yeah, well, obviously it was a change of actresses, but it was supposed to be the same character. And it made no sense that character would stay, work to become a cop so that she could eventually kill Leatherface if he showed up again.
But, like
it just doesn't make sense. Like, so, yeah, those three things are really the biggest problems with it.
They are.
If you can get past it, it's not horrible. The special effects are great. It's just
a fun movie to watch.
As long as you don't mind that the timeline gets all screwed up, and if you don't mind that, like, the ending is pretty ass.
It's bad.
But that's about it. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it? Because we just talked about some pretty big downers. So
We did. I'm thinking it's probably like a 6.
6. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 5. I don't even think it deserves a 6. It's worth watching.
It is.
It's not.
Yeah, as Texas Chainsaw fans, when we saw that there was one coming out,
We
saw
"Hey."
the trailers. We were like, okay, this looks like it could be good.
Minus that flipping camera
Minus
thing.
the camera thing.
Like, I called it out in the trailer before we did our preview for the year. I was like, "Oh, they had to do that joke. Really? That joke has been overdone."
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was worth the watch, and it's definitely worth the watch if you're a Texas Chainsaw fan. But I mean, it's probably not worth too many rewatches, realistically.
yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the classic is a classic. Even the remake isn't too bad, but like
The remake was pretty
the
good.
original is dirty and gross and dark. It's dirty
And that
the
one
way
girl actually bleeds.
it's dirty the way like Taxi Driver is dirty. It's like you just while you're watching the original, it's like you feel
like it looks like they had dirty film almost.
Yeah,
It's like it feels.
and I love that about it.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
it really sets the tone for movies. Quentin Tarantino loves doing that with his.
But I'm saying 5. He said 6. So take that for what it is. You know, if you love horror movies, it is fun. Just know that those things are going to come up.
Yeah.
And they stuck in my craw. I don't know about yours, but I know mine. All right. Let's do that stuff that's over on that side of the screen. There we go.
All right, you can watch the show on Fact TV channel 1076, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can also like us on Facebook. And when I say like us, I mean like Gory Storytime, but also like the Fact TV Facebook page because they stream things live. They actually do a lot of stuff on this channel. We say that every week, but it's true. Like, there are so many, there's bigger towns that have less new
Stuff.
content week
Yeah.
after week compared to here.
Yeah, big time.
I mean, there was a lady who unfortunately has passed away a while back, but like did multiple shows, and like
Right.
I've done multiple shows, and I know there's other shows on here with like former co-hosts of mine from another show, and you know.
Oh yeah, and
there's
a lot of
stuff.
actual content being made here,
Yeah.
other than just board meetings and stuff like that.
There's
I mean, they of course don't
many
do
movies,
those, but they
there's
do.
lots of
they've
cool
done
stuff.
movies, they've done shows.
So
pretty
you
good.
know, check out their Facebook, not just
Yeah.
mine.
You can go to factdate.com, watch a bunch of the back episodes of this, a bunch of the other shows that they have. They post just about everything that they've got up there.
And that also means you could go to their YouTube channel and my YouTube channel. Mine's at Juggalo Jakes. Theirs is, Fact TV. They got, episodes of this up on both. They got, on mine
He's
there's music
got episodes
videos,
of
other
his
TV
other
shows,
show,
there's
yeah.
sketches. Our 200th episode's up there in a long form, like hour and a
Yep.
half. I mean, there's a lot
And
of
a lot
content
of the
on
segments are also up there, so.
and then I would say follow us on the Twitter. I'm
Yes.
at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
And I'm at Jiggly Firm Brain. I only tweet funny things that he says in or out of context.
Usually out, and he needs to get his new phone loaded
Hooked
on with
onto it
Twitter
so I
because
can
he's
get back
missed
to
some
it.
gold lately.
I have.
But that's about it. So,
Until next time, I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig,
And sweet dreams.